Hey, it's Logan, and today we're talking about switching over an electrical sync cord strobe connection to fiber optic on an Ikelite underwater housing. For years, photographers have relied on our electrical sync cord for fast and accurate TTL and manual strobe communication. Today, many photographers enjoy the convenience of the lighter fiber optic connection that offers the same fast communication, but with the ability to easily hook up the system even when it's wet. The TTL fiber optic transmitter that I'm installing today is compatible with Ikelite RC232, RC165, and Echo fiber strobes. For legacy Ikelite strobes that use an electrical sync cord, we offer both TTL and manual optical receivers that allow you to adapt to this fiber optic connection too. Here I'll be installing a TT5 Canon TTL fiber optic transmitter, a TTL Hotshoe, and add a battery holder to a Canon R6 Mark III. In an Ikelite 200DL underwater housing. However, the installation will be the same for Ikelite's manual fiber optic transmitter, as well as the TTL transmitters for both Sony and Nikon, which are coming soon. We'll start by disconnecting the electrical bulkhead from the housing. First, we'll remove the Hotshoe by pulling it apart at its connecting points. Next, remove the retaining nut on the inside of the bulkhead using a 5/8 wrench. On the outside of the housing, we'll remove the bulkhead cap and then use an 11/16 wrench to carefully unscrew and remove the bulkhead from the housing. Now when you receive the fiber optic transmitter, you'll find the transmitter itself, a Hotshoe, and a battery holder. We'll focus on the transmitter first. Screw off and remove the retaining nut from the transmitter and make sure that the sealing surface of the port on your housing is clean. Lightly lubricate the visible surface of the transmitter's O-ring and the sealing surface of the housing. Feed the cables through the housing, making sure that the O-ring sits flush with the sealing surface of the housing. And carefully screw on the transmitter to avoid cross-threading. Hand tight to a firm seal is perfect. On the inside of the housing, feed the retaining nut up through the wires and fasten using a 5/8 wrench. While tightening the retainer, hold the transmitter on the outside to avoid loosening it. Don't over-tighten. At this point, your housing is sealed back up, so it's not a bad idea to throw the back of the housing on and pull vacuum just to make sure that you've installed your transmitter properly. Now that I've installed the fiber optic transmitter onto the housing, if you look inside, you'll notice two groups of wires connected to it. The flat group of black and one red wire connect to the Hotshoe, and the solid black and red wire connect to the battery holder. But before we go any further, make sure that these wires aren't interfering with any of the gears or controls inside your housing. I'll start with the Hotshoe by simply lining up the red wire with the red wire of the transmitter and push the two pieces together to secure the connection. Alright, next we'll check out the battery holder. Pull up on the side of the compartment to reveal two slots for two CR2032 batteries. I'll call this slot the inside and this slot the outside. Now the battery on the inside slot needs to have the positive side facing up, and the battery for the outside slot has the positive side facing down. Once inserted, it'll look like this. Sometimes CR2032 batteries have a safety tab on them, so double check and make sure to remove that before installing it. Once they're installed, just close the compartment and click it down to secure it. Next to the wires that lead into the battery compartment, there is an on-off switch. You'll want to make sure that this switch is set to on to ensure that your strobes are firing properly. These batteries will easily last you a week of diving, but I always travel with a few spare batteries just in case I need to swap them out. Then, just like the Hotshoe, line up the red and the black wires with their matching colors from the transmitter and click in to secure the connection. Now that I've got that set up, I'll grab this cradle piece that secures the battery holder in the housing. Now, where you place the battery holder can vary from housing to housing, because control placements aren't always the same. And once you put it in the housing, it's not too hard to take it back off and rearrange it if you find that it comes into contact with your camera or control. Generally, somewhere along the side wall of the housing is a safe place to put it. As long as you're not interfering with any gears or controls, you're good to go. It's also not a bad idea to position it somewhere where the on-off switch is accessible. Just be cautious of the depth of the back of the housing and allow for a little bit of room. Once you've stuck the cradle onto the housing, just snap in the battery holder. Alright, now your fiber optic transmitter is fully installed in your housing. Now all you need to do is install the Hotshoe onto the top of your camera. Make sure that it's fully pushed forward and flush with the top of the Hotshoe slot on your camera. Now, depending on the camera model that you're using, there are some settings inside the camera itself that you need to change to ensure that the camera can communicate with the strobes properly through the fiber optic connection. So check out your instruction manual for those settings. From here, all you'll do is hook up your strobes to your housing using fiber optic cables. The cables, as well as the transmitter itself, will be linked in the description below. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments or shoot us an email to ikelite@ikelite.com.